If you're like me, you've heard a ton about global warming and global climate change, but you may not necessarily know what global warming is or what it really means. Let me try to break down parts of it for you. The Earth's atmosphere is comprised of many different types of gases, like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and others. These gases have been in our atmosphere forever, but since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, when humans started burning fossil fuels and emitting so much pollution, a change in the balance of gases in the air began to occur. And when these levels started changing, something called the greenhouse effect intensified. Now, the greenhouse effect isn't necessarily a bad thing by itself. It allows Earth to stay warm enough for life to survive. It works like this. When the sun's rays hit the atmosphere and the surface of the Earth, approximately 70% of the energy stays on the planet. The other 30% is reflected into space by clouds and other reflective things. But even the 70% that gets through doesn't stay on Earth forever. Eventually, it gets radiated out. Some of this heat makes it into space, but the rest of it ends up getting absorbed when it hits things in the atmosphere, like carbon dioxide, methane gas, and water vapor. But a major problem in recent years is that more heat is staying on the planet and can't get through the increased level of gases. Now, this doesn't sound like such a bad thing until you realize that even small changes in the planet's temperature can cause really bad things to happen. For example, ice melting in our polar regions. If the ice melts, some coastal regions, like parts of Florida or New York City, could potentially be swallowed up by the oceans, displacing hundreds of millions of people.
Come up in the last several decades is the fact that humans have now become a big player in the Earth's long-term climate. You know, scientists had thought that the Earth is so large that it's very hard for humans to impact the natural system, but it has become very clear that humans are now having an effect. And primarily that's through the added gases that we've put into the atmosphere, especially by burning fossil fuels. That's oil, coal, and gas. And that releases carbon dioxide and other gases and small particles, and these affect the energy balance of the Earth. The gases trap infrared heat radiation, so that it tends to make the planet warmer. The planet has to warm up enough to keep the amount of energy going out from the planet equal to that coming in. And the result has been a warming of about 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit in the last 100 years. And we can see that there's more warming in the pipeline. You know, 1.5 degrees doesn't sound like much compared to weather fluctuations, which are 10 degrees or even more. That's fairly small, but it's enough to begin to have some long-term effects.
I'm Bob Boehm. I'm the director of the Center for Energy Research here at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Solar power comes in a variety of denominations, let's say. There are the kinds of things that you would put on individual houses. I recently put on a system on my own house that generates some of my power that I use in my house, and that power that I don't use from that system is funneled back to the utility. And the utility has quite a few of these kinds of systems now that they're putting on houses. That is readily available, easily installed. Once you've put in one of these kinds of systems, that freezes your cost of your energy at that point. So if electrical prices, for example, were to continue to go up over the years, you don't feel those increases. Otherwise, the grid acts as a big battery, basically. You put power into it when you've got excess power, and you draw power off of it when you need the power.
Converts 5 million tons of matter into energy every second. This energy from nuclear reactions within the sun is sent out into the solar system as light and heat. The Earth receives only a small part of this energy, which we see and feel in different ways. As the sun warms the Earth, the air is also warmed. The warm air rises and cool air rushes in below, causing the conversion of sunlight into another form of solar energy, wind. Use of wind energy will increase in the future and help the United States to become more energy independent.